The Galactic Council Chamber was the heart of the universe's greatest civilizations. Inside, hundreds of alien species gathered, their voices echoing through the Grand Hall. In the center stood Ambassador Ethan Carter, representing humanity. His sharp eyes scanned the room, sensing the tension in the air. Something was wrong. For years, humanity had been an important part of the Galactic Council. They had contributed technology, trade, and military support. Yet, many alien races feared them. Humans were growing too fast, too strong. Unlike other species, they adapted quickly, their intelligence and ambition making them unpredictable. The Council had once welcomed them, but now, they saw humanity as a threat. Today, the Council had gathered for a trial against humanity. The false accusations. A tall, reptilian alien named High Chancellor Xyros stepped forward. His scales shimmered under the artificial lights. His cold yellow eyes locked onto Ethan. Humanity has broken the sacred laws of the Council, Xyros declared. They have engaged in illegal expansion, weaponized forbidden technologies, and interfered in protected worlds. Their greed knows no bounds. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some aliens nodded in agreement, while others looked uncertain. Ethan clenched his fists. He had expected resistance, but not outright lies. "This is false," Ethan said firmly. "Humanity has followed every law. We have honored every treaty. If there is evidence, present it." A holographic screen appeared in the center of the room. It showed a destroyed alien colony. Smoke and fire covered the ruins. Bodies of innocent civilians lay scattered across the ground. The sight was horrifying. Gasps filled the hall. This was the work of human warships. Tyros accused. "Your people did this." Ethan's eyes widened. This was impossible. Humanity had never attacked any colony. Someone had faked this evidence. He turned to the council leaders, but their expressions were cold. The decision had already been made before the trial even began. The vote for banishment. The supreme speaker of the council, an ancient being covered in silver fur, raised a hand. "The council will now vote," he announced. One by one, the alien representatives cast their votes. Lights flashed red. One after another, species voted against humanity. Ethan felt a sinking feeling in his chest. This was not justice. This was an execution. Finally, the vote was complete. The Supreme Speaker turned to Ethan. "The Council has spoken. Humanity is banished from all galactic affairs. You will no longer have access to trade, alliances, or Council technology. Any human found outside your borders will be considered an outlaw." Ethan's heart pounded. This was worse than war. They were being cut off from the galaxy. Alone. "Humanity will not forget this," Ethan said, his voice cold. "One day, you will regret this decision." Tyros smirked. "We doubt it." With that, the council guards escorted Ethan out of the chamber. As he walked, he could feel the eyes of the galaxy on him. Some were filled with hatred, some with pity, but none offered help. The aftermath. Back on Earth, the news spread like wildfire. People were furious. They had trusted the Galactic Council, believed in cooperation, and now they were cast aside like criminals. The President of Earth stood before a massive crowd. His face was stern, his voice firm. "They fear us," he said. "They fear our strength, our progress. They wanted us weak, but they have only made us stronger. Humanity will not beg. We will not kneel. We will rise." The people roared in agreement. Across the solar system, scientists, engineers, and soldiers prepared for a new future. Humanity was alone now, but that didn't make them weak. It made them unstoppable. The stars above Earth shined cold and distant. For centuries, humanity had dreamed of standing among them as equals, but now they stood alone. The Galactic Council had cast them out, branding them as dangerous, unworthy of trust. But instead of falling into despair, humanity did what it had always done best. They adapted, they evolved, and they prepared for the day they would return. A united humanity. Before the banishment, Earth had been divided. Nations had their own agendas, corporations controlled resources, and political struggles slowed progress. But after the betrayal, everything changed. The world's leaders gathered in Unity Station, a massive orbital city above Earth. They knew that survival depended on unity. For the first time in history, there was no America, no China, no Europe. There was only humanity. A new global government was formed, the Terran Dominion. It was not a democracy, nor a dictatorship, but something in between. A council of scientists, strategists, and visionaries led the way. Their only goal, to ensure humanity's survival and dominance in the galaxy. The Silent Revolution. With the Galactic Council watching, humanity pretended to be weak. They closed off their borders, halted communication, and withdrew from interstellar affairs. The Council believed they had broken humanity. But behind the scenes, a silent revolution was taking place. In hidden research stations on Mars, scientists pushed the limits of physics. They developed new energy sources, faster than light travel, and cybernetic enhancements for soldiers. In the asteroid belt, shipyards worked day and night, constructing warships unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Sleek, powerful, and equipped with experimental weapons, these ships were designed for one purpose: to take back what was stolen. Deep beneath Earth's surface, the most secretive project of all was underway. A mysterious figure known only as the Architect led a team of scientists working on an advanced AI, a war machine capable of independent thought. It was rumored that the AI had a single directive: protect humanity at all costs. The first test. 3 years after the banishment, humanity's moment of truth arrived. A small fleet of alien ships from the Drakthar Empire entered human space, believing Earth was vulnerable. They had once been allies, but now they came as predators. They expected a weak response. They expected fear. What they found was something else entirely. As soon as the alien ships crossed into human territory, they vanished from all sensors. A new stealth technology, something no other species possessed, had cloaked them from detection. Before the Drakthar could react, a human fleet appeared out of nowhere. The battle lasted only minutes. The aliens never stood a chance. Humanity's new warships tore through their defenses with precision and efficiency. When it was over, the Drakthar fleet had been wiped out. Not a single human ship was lost. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer the same species the Galactic Council had banished. They had become something far more dangerous, preparing for the future. Back on Earth, the leaders of the Terran Dominion watched the battle's footage in silence. Finally, the Architect spoke. This is only the beginning. Humanity was rising. And soon, the galaxy would tremble. The void of space was silent, but humanity's sensors detected everything. On the edge of the Sol system, a fleet of alien ships drifted cautiously. They bore the insignia of the Drakthar Empire, one of the many species that had voted for humanity's banishment. For years, the Drakthar had stayed away, believing humanity to be weak and broken. But now, greed had brought them back. They had heard whispers, rumors that humans were hiding powerful new technology. The Drakthar wanted to see for themselves. They had made a mistake. The invasion of Epsilon 7. Epsilon 7 was a human colony on the edge of known space, a peaceful world. It had no military presence, only scientists, farmers, and workers. The Drakthar fleet saw an easy target. Without warning, they attacked. Orbital bombardments rained fire upon the colony. Settlements burned. Communication towers collapsed, and thousands of innocent people died within minutes. A single distress signal managed to escape before the colony fell silent. It was received by Admiral Leon Graves, commander of the Terran Dominion's First Fleet. He watched the footage in cold silence. The Drakthar had not just attacked a colony. They had declared war. The response: The Galactic Council had always expected humanity to beg for mercy. They believed that without trade, without allies, humanity would remain weak. But what they did not know was that Earth had spent the last 10 years preparing for this very moment. Admiral Graves activated the Dominion's war protocols. Within hours, 3 massive human fleets mobilized, moving with deadly efficiency. Their ships were faster, smarter, and deadlier than anything the aliens had ever seen. No speeches were given. No warnings were sent. Humanity was done talking. The Battle of Epsilon 7. The Drakthar fleet remained in orbit, celebrating their easy victory. Their commanders believed humanity was too afraid to retaliate. They were wrong. Without warning, dark shapes emerged from the void. The human fleet had arrived, but they were invisible to enemy sensors, hidden by next-generation stealth technology. Then the attack began. Human warships, sleek and black, cut through the Drakthar fleet with terrifying precision. Railguns, plasma cannons, and AI-controlled drones ripped through enemy hulls before they could react. The Drakthar, unprepared for such overwhelming force, panicked. Their fleet attempted to retreat, but humanity had anticipated this. Admiral Graves gave a single order: no survivors. One by one, the alien ships were hunted down and destroyed. Not a single Drakthar vessel escaped. The aftermath. When the battle was over, the surviving human soldiers landed on the ruins of Epsilon 7. They walked through the burning remains of their colony, seeing the bodies of their own people, the innocent men, women, and children who had been slaughtered. Admiral Graves looked at the destruction, his jaw clenched in silent rage. This was just the beginning, he muttered. The Galactic Council had banished humanity to weaken them. Instead, they had created something far worse, an unstoppable force with nothing left to lose. And now, humanity was ready to strike back. The Drakthar believed humanity would never dare to retaliate. They thought Earth was weak, isolated, and afraid. They were wrong. The massacre at Epsilon 7 had not broken humanity. It had only unleashed their wrath. Now, the time had come for revenge. The War Council, in the heart of Unity Station, the most powerful humans in history gathered around a massive holographic display. Generals, admirals, scientists, and strategists watched as the image of the Drakthar homeworld hovered above the table. Admiral Leon Graves stood at the front, his expression cold and unshaken. "The Drakthar believe we will hesitate," he said. "They think we will negotiate. That is their mistake." The Supreme Chancellor of the Terran Dominion nodded. "Then we show them what happens when humanity is pushed too far." A single command was given. Operation Revenant had begun. The infiltration. Before launching a full-scale assault, humanity needed intelligence. They deployed blackout teams, elite cybernetically enhanced operatives trained for deep space infiltration. One such team, led by Commander Ilias Voss, slipped through enemy defenses using stealth shuttles. Their target, Zyrich 3, a heavily fortified Drakthar military outpost. Inside, Voss and his team hacked into the enemy network, extracting classified data. What they found was shocking. The Drakthar were planning to invade Earth itself. Their leaders believed humanity was still vulnerable. Their fleets were gathering, preparing for a final strike to wipe out the last traces of human civilization. Voss sent the data back to Earth. His mission was complete. But before leaving, he had one final message for the Drakthar. He sabotaged their main reactor. As his team escaped into the void, Zyrich 3 exploded in a fireball brighter than a star. The invasion of Drakthar Prime. Humanity had no time to waste. The enemy was preparing for war, but they would never get the chance. The Terran Dominion's first, second, and third fleets launched their attack. Drakthar Prime, the enemy homeworld, had been a fortress for centuries. Massive planetary shields and orbital defense platforms had made it untouchable, but they had never faced human ingenuity. Using experimental quantum phase disruptors, humanity shut down the planetary shields in an instant. The defenses that had stood for centuries collapsed in seconds. Then the bombardment began. Railgun slugs the size of buildings slammed into enemy fortresses. Eye-guided missile swarms tore through alien defenses with surgical precision. Orbital drop pods rained from the sky, delivering human shock troopers straight into enemy strongholds. The Drakthar fought back with everything they had. Their warriors were strong, their fleets massive, but they were fighting the wrong kind of war. They fought like conquerors. Humanity fought like survivors. For every human that fell, 10 Drakthar were wiped out. The end of the Drakthar. As the human forces advanced through the ruined capital, Admiral Graves gave the enemy one last chance. Surrender, he broadcasted across all channels, or be erased. The Drakthar High Command refused. They vowed to fight to the last warrior. So humanity gave them their wish. By the time the battle ended, the Drakthar Empire was no more. Their military was annihilated. Their leadership was gone. Their species, once proud and powerful, was reduced to scattered refugees. A warning to the galaxy. The Galactic Council watched in horror. They had banished humanity to control them. Instead, they had created something unstoppable. Now, Earth's message was clear. We are not your prey. We are not your servants. If you come for us, we will burn your worlds to ash. Humanity was no longer just another species in the galaxy. They had become something far greater. And the galaxy would never be the same again. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Representatives from hundreds of alien species shouted over one another, their voices filled with panic and fear. Just days ago, the Drakthar Empire had been one of the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. Now, it was gone. Wiped out. Humanity had done the impossible. Not only had they survived their banishment, but they had also returned with a vengeance. Their fleets were superior. Their weapons were unmatched. Their soldiers were unstoppable. And now, the Council feared they were next. The emergency meeting. High Chancellor Xyros, the same reptilian alien who had once led the vote to exile humanity, stood at the center of the chamber. His golden eyes were filled with anger, but also fear. "This is a disaster," he hissed. "The humans have destroyed the Drakthar. They will not stop there. We must act before they turn their weapons against us." Some nodded in agreement. Others remained silent, their minds filled with doubt. Ambassador Shalvera, a member of the wise and ancient Villari species, leaned forward. Her voice was calm, but her expression was grim. "We made a mistake," she admitted. "We thought humanity would crumble. Instead, we forged them into something far more dangerous." Xyros slammed his fist onto the table. "Then we must strike first, before they grow even stronger." A heavy silence filled the room. The Council had the largest alliance in the galaxy. If they united their fleets, they could challenge humanity. But there was one problem. No one wanted to go to war with Earth. The Drakthar had thought they could crush the humans. Look what happened to them. Humanity's next move. While the Council argued, humanity was already planning their next step. Inside Unity Station, the Supreme Chancellor of the Terran Dominion stood before a massive screen displaying real-time intelligence. A dozen alien fleets were moving, gathering near the Council's core worlds. "They're afraid," said Admiral Graves, standing beside her. "They don't know whether to fight or surrender." The Supreme Chancellor folded her arms. "We won't wait for them to decide." Humanity had no interest in ruling the galaxy. They did not want to conquer every world. But they would not allow the Galactic Council to threaten them ever again. It was time to force a decision, a message to the galaxy. Across every planet, every space station, every communication hub, a signal was broadcast. The image of the Supreme Chancellor appeared, her face calm but her words unshakable. "We are humanity. You cast us out. You turned your backs on us. But we did not die. We thrived. We evolved. And now, we have returned." She leaned forward, her gaze sharp. "We do not seek war. We do not seek conquest. But we will never again bow to your counsel." Her voice turned cold. "Any species that raises a weapon against us will meet the same fate as the Drakthar. This is your only warning." The message ended. The Council's dilemma. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, silence fell once more. The leaders of the galaxy had two choices: make peace with humanity or face extinction. High Chancellor Xyros bared his teeth. He wanted war. He wanted revenge. But even he knew the truth. Humanity was no longer a species they could control. They were now a power that could reshape the galaxy itself. The Galactic Council had been given a choice: peace or extinction. For weeks, they debated in secrecy. Some species wanted to negotiate with humanity. Others, led by High Chancellor Xyros, still believed war was the only option. But deep down, everyone knew the truth. The Council's fleets were massive but outdated. Their tactics had worked for centuries, but humanity had evolved beyond them. Their weapons were powerful, but nothing compared to what humanity had created in exile. If they attacked Earth, they wouldn't just lose. They would cease to exist. A dangerous gamble. Despite the fear gripping the Council, Kairos refused to accept defeat. He called for a final, desperate plan: a preemptive strike on Earth. Not a full invasion. That would be suicide. Instead, a covert operation. A team of elite assassins, cyber warriors, and saboteurs from different alien races were gathered for one mission: to assassinate the Supreme Chancellor of the Terran Dominion. Xyros believed that without their leader, humanity would crumble into chaos. He was wrong. The assassination attempt. The team infiltrated Unity Station, bypassing security with stolen codes and stealth technology. Moving through the corridors like shadows, they reached the Supreme Chancellor's private chamber. They entered, weapons drawn, and found themselves staring down the barrels of human railguns. They had walked into a trap. The Dominion had expected this. In a single moment, every assassin was either gunned down or captured. The leader, a four-armed insectoid named Krezik, was dragged before the Supreme Chancellor. She looked at him with cold, merciless eyes. "We gave you a choice," she said. "You chose poorly." With a single nod, she ordered his execution. The final message. Humanity wasted no time. Within hours, they broadcasted a new message across the entire galaxy. The image of the failed assassins appeared first, lifeless bodies floating in the void. Then, the Supreme Chancellor spoke. "The Galactic Council has made its decision. They have chosen war." Her voice was emotionless. "So be it. The war begins." Across human-controlled space, massive fleets activated. Weapons charged, engines roared. Soldiers stood ready. Humanity had been patient. But now they would end this war before it even began. As human warships launched into the darkness, one thing was certain. The Galactic Council had just made the worst mistake in the history of the universe. You said. The war did not last long. The Galactic Council had believed in their numbers, their ancient fleets, their alliances. But none of that mattered anymore. Humanity had outgrown them. Now, Earth's fleets moved like shadows through the void, silent, precise, unstoppable. And one by one, the Council's strongholds fell. The blitzkrieg of the core worlds. The first target was Xiphos Prime, the military command center of the Council. Humanity didn't waste time with negotiations. They struck hard. They struck fast. Eye-controlled drones flooded the enemy's defenses, disrupting communication, disabling shields, hacking their systems. Before the Xiphos fleet could react, human battleships phased into orbit, their cannons already firing. In less than an hour, the entire planet surrendered. The next targets fell even faster. 7 planets in 7 days, each one crushed under the weight of humanity's new war doctrine. Total domination. The galaxy had never seen warfare like this. No mercy, no hesitation, No survivors among those who resisted. The death of High Chancellor Xyros. In the heart of the Council's capital world, High Chancellor Xyros watched in horror. Every battle report confirmed the same thing. They were losing. Badly. He had underestimated humanity. Again. But instead of surrendering, he called for a final stand. The Council's last fleets gathered above the capital, preparing for the final battle. They never got the chance. Before a single Council ship could fire, the sky split open. Human warships, sleek and black, emerged from hyperspace within the planet's atmosphere. It was impossible. No fleet had ever breached a capital world's defenses like this. Then the bombardment began. Orbital railguns, plasma lances, kinetic strikes, each one precise, each one devastating. The capital burned. As the Council's palace collapsed, Xyros tried to escape. He ran through the ruins, gasping for breath, his guards dead around him. But he was not fast enough. From the smoke emerged Admiral Leon Graves. His armor gleamed under the fire-lit sky, his cold eyes locked onto the alien who had once led humanity's banishment. Xyros raised a weapon, but it was useless. A single shot from Graves' railgun ended the High Chancellor's life. With him, the Council died. The end of the old order. The war was over. The Galactic Council, once the rulers of the universe, was no more. And humanity stood victorious. A new era begins, but humanity did not claim the throne. They did not seek to rule over the galaxy. Instead, the Terran Dominion sent a final message to all surviving species. We are not your enemies, but we will never again be your victims. They had not fought for conquest. They had fought for revenge, for survival, for their future. And now, the future belonged to them. As Earth's fleets returned home, the message was clear. Humanity had been banished. But now, they ruled the stars.